Hey, I know you. I know I think we go to the same barber shop.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes, yeah, busted, I guess.
Yeah, but
That's the best.
but I can see from your physique that you don't get the nickname that I carry all the time. I'm most popularly known as the old fat bald guy.
Oh, wow, that's not very nice.
I've
I,
been
I'm
able.
I'm called Shining Brow. I'm called because of You Shine, the song, maybe. I'm also called Long Email because I'm a son of an educator and I'm a teacher, so I like explaining things.
Well, we're going to get you to explain a couple of things. One about this brand new album coming out, all the love songs and the whole history and the gist of that. And then, more important than that, Marike Siewert is here with you as well. Marike, thank you for coming by. And I'm excited to tell the world here in Atlantic Canada that you guys are going on tour in June and you're going to be here. So we'll talk about that as well, I hope, a little bit, and look forward to seeing you. But for now, the big event is taking place on Saturday. You're going to have an album launch, but it's more than that. And it's not your anniversary by any stretch, but you're over 40 years married, 40 years on the road and in the music business, and a new album that celebrates love over that 40-year period. And those who know you now, as I do, would say that you've been singing love songs forever to God and love songs about God. But
Mhm.
this time, the album sounds different. How so?
Oh, thanks for asking because yeah, and I do feel it's like a continuation, the love songs to God, love songs from God. And my dear wife Joyce, we started dating when we were 15. That's 44 years ago, and we got married at 19. We've been married over 40 years, and a couple of years back, I felt like there was this huge gap. And I always write for the gap. I say the world is filled with songs about falling in love, but not a lot of songs about staying in love for a whole life. And so I thought, oh, I'll surprise my wife. I'll next week when I have my songwriting appointment with myself, I'll go in there and I'll write her a song. And then I thought, ah, I don't want to just write her one song because every song is unique and it says one thing from a certain angle, and there's so much to say. After 40 plus years, there's so many aspects of delight and challenge and faithfulness and all those things. So I wrote another one, and then I wrote another one, and eventually I shared with her what I was doing. I think I was like 10, 15 songs in. I ended up writing 40. And on the album, whittled it back down to 12 songs that we fully arranged and produced.
Now, before I ask you more about the why, normally when you produce an album like that, you've got the one single that's supposed to carry the whole album, that kind of thing. Is there one of those 12 songs that really jumps out to you or perhaps touches your heart more?
Well, can I ask? Let's ask Marika that question because she's been my chief encourager, but she's not in the thick of it. She's listening to them as they develop. So, Marika, now that the album's finished, what's your take on that?
Oh, that's a tough question. My personal favorite is one called A Love That Doesn't Fade and another one called Our Story. But I think my favorite thing about the album is that what I love about Brian is he's always evolving as an artist, not just as a worship leader. Of course, he's known for so many of these amazing worship songs, but this is a song called Two Souls, One Home that's kind of almost like country Christian, and it's beautiful. And I feel like it's an album that has so many different songs that could actually reach so many different audiences. So, but my favorite is A Love That Doesn't Fade for sure.
Yeah, and I
Hey,
think, go ahead, Bill.
no, 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 no. Please do. Please do.
Well, I would, the funny thing is answering that question is challenging because my wife will go, "Oh, that's my favorite." And then she'll hear the next one. "No, that's my favorite." But I do think there's something about A Love That Doesn't Fade that's resonating for people. It's playing on a number of stations. And I think it describes, the chorus starts with the line, Oh, to know the love that fills the cracks with golden grace. Our bodies show the years, but deep inside we feel the same. We're living in a covenant that lasts when seasons change, thankful for a love that doesn't fade. But first line, oh, to know the love that fills the cracks, the reality is any marriage is between two people who have flaws, who have imperfections, but choose to love each other through those things and through the changing seasons, right? And so I think if I was to describe kind of like one thing that threads this whole album, besides just the fact that it is about long love, it's gratitude for long love because of standing with each other through the crazy things that bring those cracks, so to speak, into our life. And Roberta Landreth, who designed the artwork, we decided to bring in the kintsugi kind of look into the artwork for every single song because I think it spoke to us that grace is that golden glue, so to speak, in a relation
Mm,
that keeps us connected.
absolutely. And you used two words in your reference to love, and there first was falling, and the second was covenant. And
Yeah.
as a pastor, I've been trying to preach for years and years that the Hollywood image of falling in love is bogus. You don't fall in because if you can fall in, you can also fall out. And we see too much evidence of that today, where marriages are not lasting, and one like yours of 40 plus years is getting more and more rare all the time. But your word covenant, falling in love is not true, but a decision to love and a commitment to love is that covenant you're talking about. And like you say, we're all broken people, if you will. Uh, we don't have it all together. Nobody's perfect, and therefore that decision has to carry you through the down times. And that's where a lot of people give up. And a credit to you and to your faith that you didn't.
Yeah. Well, and I think I do understand and have can identify with the experience, the rush of emotion that is like falling in love. But then you're absolutely right. You not that long after that experience, there's some choices to make. And those choices are about our actions, about serving and staying with each other even when you don't have the same feelings or you're patient, right? Because sometimes some of those feelings can kind of ebb a little bit away. They can pull away, but if you're patient, they will return. I can tell you that when my wife walks in the room, my pulse quickens because I'm still massively attracted to her. I'm thankful for her. And when I see her, it's like I see her in all of her ages. I see her as the 15-year-old. I see her as the 19-year-old bride. I see her as the 29-year-old young mother of three kids, just juggling all these things and still having that glow about her. I see her now, we're both 59. I see her and I'm moved by what I see because of the whole story. There's a song on the album called Our Story, and it's about that, and it's about how much of that time is seemingly ordinary, but when you walk through that, it becomes extraordinary, right? When you stay with the same person and you keep finding new ways to see each other.
It's interesting you say that because we don't live in a world that appreciates that anymore. We really don't. Our culture, our society doesn't. And there'll be a lot of females, a lot of women watching this interview, and they'll be saying, "Right on, brother. That's it." Tell. And a lot of men will be saying, "Oh man, what a softie! What? Who is this guy?" It's
And you know
we
what? Oh, I was gonna
go
say
ahead.
just to add, I'm like, I think the coolest part about this album is that, all of us, I think, have soundtracks of seasons of our lives. And I don't know of another soundtrack that was really celebrating long love. And so even when people are going through hard times in their marriages, the words are so powerful, the music is powerful, and it's Brian, he's created really an art piece, but something that's actually very encouraging, I think, for people all over the world. So
And he's already demonstrating the ability to see the big picture and do up the whole big package kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because anybody else would celebrate an anniversary or would celebrate a milestone or would celebrate the launch of a new album. But only you, my friend, would invite the public into a big Saturday night dance party, album release, celebrate love, a gathering in British Columbia's very famous place, the historic Fort Langley Community Hall. I just wish I was closer, that I could be there too. But that's a party. You know how to celebrate.
Well, I really have to thank Marika, who has been a key person in my life in recent years to help me learn how to celebrate. I'm Dutch, German, Mennonite background. Sometimes we joke that, people with my heritage, they that we're dancing on the inside. We're smiling and celebrating on the inside, but our outside doesn't show it that much. Where Marika's culture, where she knows how to do that. And the other thing, and my dear wife Joyce, it was her idea. She started hearing the mixes come in and everything, and she's like, we can't just like do a concert. Like, usually my concerts are at a local church that I've got connections with, which is great. But she says, no, this this should be an old-fashioned dance party. Let's rent an iconic kind of hardwood floor. When you walk in, it feels like you've stepped back in time
Mm.
and has that feeling, but then the music that's going to be played is going to be new old-fashioned love songs. And so she's been hard at work on, prepping the candy station and gathering together, decorations and things so that when people walk in, they're going to have an absolutely joyful experience. Even those like me who can't dance, it's not
You
about,
try. Come on, you try.
that's what they call baltering. But it's not about, being wowed by people who get out on that nice, beautiful old wooden floor and move around. It's about the songs and about what they're saying, and the fact that these songs aren't pretending, they're not acting, they're based in reality. This is my life that I'm singing about, and I'm singing about other couples who've inspired me, including my parents and other people I know. So yeah, but it's going to be fun, man.
Like I say, I wish I was closer. I could take part for sure. But having said that, you are the penultimate praise team leader or praise leader. And these love songs, while love is central to the whole faith and the whole belief system for us, this is again love between a man and a woman, love in the sense of family, love in the sense of a lifetime commitment being celebrated, but different than the praise music. Is this a mark of departure for you in terms of your music going forward?
I mean, all you can say as an artist, and Marika has gone through multiple seasons too as an artist, is you write the next song or the next batch of songs that you're moved to. For me, it's like writing into the gap. Honestly, I've already got a whole bunch of other new songs that I'm working on that nobody's heard yet that I is probably going to become the next chapter. Um, and I do think I'm finding more and more life in the diversity, like performance songs, story songs, still some worship songs, but all of it because it's what it means to be human. I think, to express. And I think sometimes people of Christian faith over spiritualize and they try and make everything about that one thing. Whereas we live in a world, the ocean of physical reality all around us, the seasons, the way we plant seeds and we watch them grow, the way where we forgive each other, the way we walk with each other. And so I think our music needs to reflect all of life. And yeah, and so what's next? I don't fully know. I just say you have to stay tuned.
And we will. And we will. But
You.
having said that, you're right. When you talk about Christians, there are people who want things to stay the same way. and from
Yeah.
their perspective of you, the same way is you're the worship leader. You're not the love song singer. And so, do you expect some people are going to think less of you or more of you?
Again, I don't know. I'm not in control of that. Marika, what's your perspective as you watch this thing unfold? What do you think's going to happen?
I don't know what's going to happen. You know what? The music industry has changed in Christian and mainstream over the last, decade or so, and anything goes these days, Bill. I'm excited actually that Brian doesn't stay the same. I started in pop music, and I was a Christian in pop music, and our paths crossed because I was a pop artist, not a Christian artist.
Yeah.
And I think that there's so much more art that sometimes people of faith miss because they're afraid of it. And there's so much music to be made even by Christians that is life-giving, which Brian and I have joked because I was like, we're going to create this new genre called iPop, and it's like inspirational pop because that's kind of what we're doing. And it doesn't make it any less worthy of being sung than worship songs that we've done in the past, or pop songs or country songs or rock songs in the future. And I just think as people of faith, we should be able to look to our creator and be free to create what we want. How the audience responds to that, some people are going to love it, some people are not going to like it. But I think the cool thing about Brian is that he has this career that's really stood the test of time. And in a sea of like thousands and thousands of artists on Spotify, Brian is still creating good art. And I think that is what is actually going to keep on sort of keeping him in the conversation. And I learned from it too. My music and my songwriting has gotten even better just from not getting caught in the trends and the Spotify's and the Apple Musics, but really creating good art. And so, yeah.
Well, you're no slouch either, my sister. I got to tell you. I mean, we're playing your music here as well, and you probably don't know, but we play all hit music, as I call it. Goes back into the '60s, '70s, and it's rock and it's this and it's
Cool.
that. But
Yeah.
sprinkled in throughout all of that is the contemporary Christian music, which
Yeah.
fits in perfectly from the perspective of a sound, a feel. And
Yeah.
Mm.
and then of course you go deeper when you really pay attention to the lyrics. But we just sprinkle these in. We play the Beatles and then play your song, for example, Marika.
That's so cool, Bill. That's
Yeah.
that's so cool. Yeah.
And people, they boogie along and they're into the music and so on, and they may or may not even catch the lyrics, but if they do, they stop and, wow, I should think about that maybe. So that's the way we approach it too. So it's all hit music, and contemporary Christian music is a part of them because they're hits
Well,
and they're
yeah.
popular.
Totally. And I mean, I think that's how it should be, to be honest. Brian and I were watching this documentary, and it was about Bono and the Edge, and they rewrote Sunday Bloody Sunday, and the lyrics are so redemptive. I mean, it was an incredible song before, but basically Bono was like, this is actually the song that was supposed to be, and it took me 20 years to write.
Mm.
And it was just such a powerful moment because as songwriters, that's what we do. And we change over time, and our music should change with us. So
Yeah, I think it's absolutely that. And it's both. And yet when you hear Bono and the Edge doing it, it's still classic them,
yeah.
but it's refreshed in a way. And I think it's this, some things change and some things don't change. And that's actually how life works. And I think that's how art works too, because all art and songs are this, kind of glorious art form where you take experience and emotion and truth and all of this stuff, and you put it in this little 3 to 5 minute package that it's being carried by these melodies and these chords and these things. And but by doing that, you're absolutely serving people because you're giving them words in a way that they remember, that express what's happening in their heart and in their life. And some of that's going to keep on changing, but I think all of us, and I hear Marika's voice. I remember the first time I heard her voice, I went, oh, I loved the personality of her voice. It was that which caused me to reach out to her and say, I think you're the perfect person for this part. And, people they can hear my voice if they've listened to my music over the years, and there's a unique signature to my voice. And I think that's all. So we are who we are, but what we express just keeps on developing, just keeps on, we keep on learning, unlearning, relearning, staying curious. So,
And now the duet is a reality. The history is there, and now you're going on tour, and I'm
We
so
are.
delighted you're headed our way. So, what's the tour look like? How many stops, and how long can we captivate you or capture you in Atlantic Canada?
well, first of all, I want to say that we are so thrilled to be coming back to Atlanta, Canada. I mean, Marika, this will be
I've
her
never gone,
first
yeah.
time. Yeah. But for me,
Oh,
it's been like, I think it's been over 10 years. And so thankfully we are writing that, and we are doing events in Woodstock, in St. John, in Moncton, in Charlottetown, in New Minas, and in Halifax. And it's the kind of the first week of June. I think it's the 3rd to the 8th. So we're thrilled to be coming to your part of the world and singing a mix of those songs that people know me for, singing some new songs, singing a couple of Marika songs, and because because Marika and I and Luke were on the stage, we have so much relationship and so much affection, and we know each other so well. It's this, the evenings are these special times of laughter, of life, of inspiration, of storytelling, and of songs that, just, and it's like we have
Change people's lives is what it
uh,
is.
and people come from all ages, from all backgrounds, even if people aren't attending church anymore because they've had too many struggles with church. What they find is when they show up, we sing love over them. And my wife, Joyce, watches the experience, and she gets so blown away every night because she watches people come in. She can see the burdens and the anxiety in their face. She can read it in their body language. And then she watches what happens as the evening progresses, and it just starts melting off of them. And and there's a lot of reasons for that. Music experience live does that. I think love and friendship does that, and I think ultimately the spirit, the Holy Spirit, the gift of God that flows through all of that does that. And it's a real privilege to get in the middle of that.
what you just described is what I've said before is the gift from God. The music is the language of emotion.
Hmm.
Yeah,
And the
that's
emotion comes through your music, Marika. It comes through your history of music, Brian. And we just love it. We look forward to your visit, look forward to your success, and may you be blessed forevermore.
Thank you so
thank
much,
you so
Bill,
much.
for inviting us to have this conversation. And I'm so glad that we're coming to your part of the world.